Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Morgan. I go by the Fiber Between Us on all the social medias. I am an illustrator, graphic designer, theater maker, fiber artist person. Welcome. Look at my nails. These are my actual nails. These are not press-ons. Like, I don't quite know how they got so long and strong, but I'm like not upset about it. Oh yeah, Happy New Year. PS, by the way. If you've been following my videos here or seen some of my work on Instagram, then you probably know that for 2025, I had a 100 mini artwork project, which essentially meant that I was making 100 mini pieces, like 3x3 canvases, over the course of the whole year in various mediums. Why? Why did I do this? Well, I saw another artist on TikTok do it and I thought, that's a neat idea. I want to give that a try. I liked the aspect of having consistent goals for each month, and so that was a big reason why I wanted to do it. I also really missed working in watercolors. I used to do it all the time and I haven't really touched on it much over like the last year or two. So I thought that this would be a really great way for me to get back into using it regularly, refresh my skills, and as you'll find out, yeah, that kind of happened. In this video, I want to go over what worked, what didn't, which pieces I liked, which pieces I think weren't as successful, and just walk you through the process of this project. First off, all of my mini pieces, all 100 of them, are in here. As you can see, I separated them by little month index cards. This piece of paper in the back was this little piece of paper was subjects that I could paint, draw, what have you, in the process. Used it for maybe a month and a half, and then I completely forgot that I wrote it out. Major help. So the materials that I used were Bristol paper, oil and acrylic paper, and watercolor paper. I primarily cut out more watercolor paper than the other two because my intention was, again, to get back to watercolor. And that kind of worked. Well, not really. It didn't really work at all. The mediums that I used ranged from Watercolors Gouache, color pencil, neo crayon, aqua 2s, acrylic paint pens, both Posca and Artex paint brushes, ink and nib, collage, and alcohol markers. And fine liners and other little things like that too. But yeah, those are the main mediums that I used in these pieces. So all of the pieces are collected in here, but let's look at them month by month. Let's talk about my favorite pieces throughout this process. We're gonna start with January. So this was the very first one that I made. A simple tree. I like this kind of style of tree, and I thought as far as watercolor goes, this actually worked out pretty well. It was pretty successful. And then I've got this little lady. This was based off of a picture that I found on Pinterest, and I just really like how it turned out. This is all Artex brush paint pens. And last but not least, this is my cat Dolly in color pencils. So now let's talk about the less successful pieces, starting with January. So we have this watercolor, and the idea was that the paints were going to sort of bloom up into this section up here and then bloom into this section down here, but it just didn't flow very well. And it was an experiment. I learned a lot from it. I don't think this one's as successful as I wanted it to be, partly because I think I was just really rusty when I made this, and so it's a little wonky and not in a way that I personally find interesting, and I just think it's a little messy. It's really just that I think it's a little messy. February was kind of an anomaly where I made 5 pieces and 4 of them I really liked. This is Artex acrylic brush markers. This is also Artex acrylic paint markers, and so is this one. The difference between this one and the first 2 is that this was on watercolor paper and the other 2 are on oil and acrylic paper. And some mushrooms in color pencil. Now for the one unsuccessful piece in February. Now, the only reason I say that this is unsuccessful is because I think it's a little muddied, a little maybe too much detail. So this is kind of funny. Looking at March now, I realize that I actually like all of these pieces. I think that some are a little less successful than others just because of simplicity, but simplicity is not a bad thing. So I'm actually gonna show you all of these as successful. Here we go. This is a position my cat does quite often. We call it playing the cello. This is colored pencil. These are with Artex brush pens, which have like a dry brush effect to them. This is just a highlighter and a fine liner. I really love the detail on these houses, on these buildings. And last but not least, color pencil. Good job, March. Moving on to April. These are the successful pieces. Now, out of the unsuccessful pieces, again, at least one of them I'm kind of like, it's fine. I don't think there's actually anything wrong with it. It was an experiment, which is why it falls into the unsuccessful. I should probably find a better phrase for that. This is an acrylic paint pen. I think that the way in which I did it, I kind of did the light colors on the dark background, and I think that that kind of doomed me from the start, and then I kind of lost the feeling for it. This was a little watercolor experiment. I don't think it's bad by any means, I just don't think it's particularly interesting. This was another acrylic marker sort of fail, again, just in how I approached the piece itself by putting light on the very, very dark backgrounds, and I don't know, kind of lost interest after a while. Are you also watercolor? It's also watercolor, the background. And then this little lady, who I really like. I like a little chunky bird. I think it's very folk arty. It's a little, it's a bit of a departure from what I usually do, and I kind of played with this figure in my sketchbooks after I made this, and then promptly forgot about it. Yeah. On to the month of May. Here are the successful pieces. This one I think is successful because I tend to do a lot of these sort of blobby shaped figures, and I was pleased that the acrylic background worked well with the actual fine liner that I put over it, and I just really like her. I like the texture of her hair. This, honestly, I think is one of the best colored pencil pieces I have ever made. This is based off of a lamp that I have, that I inherited from my mom, that is in the shape of a rooster, and I just think that the blending and everything worked out so well. And now the unsuccessful pieces for May. There's really nothing wrong with these. It's just, they are very simple, and I made them in a rush. So I just don't think they're particularly interesting. That's really all it is. We are now moving into the month of June. June was an interesting month because I realized that I was nowhere near halfway through the project, and I was halfway through the year. So in the month of June, I ended up making like 20 some odd pieces altogether to kind of not only catch up, but to like kind of overshoot. So I would have less pieces that I had to make for the remainder of the year. Instead of commenting on each one that I liked, I'm just gonna breeze through all the ones that I like. Here we go. a little commentary, because this was around the time that I started doing like a series of one subject so that I could accomplish more pieces without having to think of like different subjects per piece. So here's a small series of trees in color pencil. On the note of doing different series, I did a small series of different animals, simple shape-based animal pieces. And lastly, these last three are all about pigeons, because I love pigeons. So now we're going to move on to the unsuccessful pieces, which really, looking at June, these were all experimental pieces with different techniques that I was learning and wanted to give a go. And are they like completed works of art? No, I don't think they are. But I appreciate them for what they are and from what I learned from them. These are all watercolor and color pencils and a little bit of watercolor pencil. I was basically doing a technique where the pencil moved the watercolor paint around. I think for the most part it translated pretty well to trees, but again, these are experiments, nothing finished. And then I decided to do an experiment with cloud pieces. How did I even make these? Wow, I don't even remember the technique that I used to make these. Riveting. I think out of all of them, this is the one that was the most successful as far as the technique goes. And there you have it. That's June. Ugh, gotta adjust. Ugh. Now we are on to the month of July. And I gotta say, I think it was a successful month. This is based off of a picture of a hotel in, I believe, India from the Accidentally Wes Anderson Instagram account. I just really love the windows and the color of this building. A set of rooftops. This is also from the Accidentally Wes Anderson book. Yeah, from the book. Alcohol marker and fine liner. Moving on to some paintings here. This is in gouache. Also gouache. And lastly, also gouache. August was an interesting month. I think it was more successful than unsuccessful. This is watercolor and fine liner. I think this kind of veers towards unsuccessful, only in that I think I overdid it on the cat with the fur just a little bit, but I think it's really sweet. This is acrylic brush pen on the oil and acrylic paper. I was playing with these florals within different shapes. So this is within a triangle. This is within a square. And this one is within an oval. This one I think is a little unsuccessful, only in that while I love playing with proportions and I don't necessarily care about straight lines, this didn't quite land for me in the way that I wanted it to. And I think that's really more about the fact that it's a tiny, tiny canvas as opposed to ability or subject matter. I mean, like, look at this thing. Look at how tiny this is. You're so small. That's not a bad thing. I don't mean to shame you by any means. I love you, baby. I love you. Don't be mad. Don't be mad. And this was the first time in all of 2025 that I did a collage. And I friggin' love this piece. I think it's one of my favorites out of the entire year. September's successful pieces. This is a collage / woven piece. It's a little wonky because it went off of the canvas a little bit there, but I really, really love how this turned out. And this ended up being the second collage piece that I did in the whole series. I think this one's really successful in the blending between not only the watercolor itself, but also the way the color pencil also accentuates and blends into this really noodly shape. As far as unsuccessful pieces go for September, I think it was a mix of materials that were unsuccessful and then just like technique in the way that I used them. This is watercolor with a Pentel brush pen. And they're pretty organic, but I don't think for me personally, the colors aren't saturated enough. And I think that for me personally, it makes it a little less interesting. And this was a watercolor piece that I originally did in a sketchbook that I thought was far more successful than this little mini. October. Whoa. This is colored pencil. Paint pens. What are you? Gouache? Honestly, I can't remember what kind of paint I used here. I want to say it's gouache. It might be watercolor, just super, super saturated. I do think it's a little muddied in colors. There's not a whole lot of contrast, but I think it's super cute. And I learned a lot from making this one. This was just a simple little idea I had. It's watercolor and ink and nib. These are pieces from October that I'm like, they're fine. I don't think they're necessarily unsuccessful, but they're fine. And these were all like Neocolor crayons and I think color pencil, and they're fine. They're fine. I don't think they're anything necessarily to write home about. November's successful pieces. As for unsuccessful pieces in November, this feels a little lacking to me, personally. This is all paint pen on watercolor paper, which I think is part of the reason why I think it's unsuccessful. I think it's just really muddied. Same thing with this one. I think it just turned out really muddied. This is supposed to be an aerial shot of a fruit market, and I don't think it really just, I don't know. I don't think it translates as well as I would have liked. But again, I think this is also because, look at how small. Look at how small it is. Pieces like this, I think, need larger canvases because it's hard to put so much detail, even when it's mostly shapes, into something so small. All right, we're coming into the home stretch. Now we are moving on to December. This is all gouache. This is a mix of ink, nib, and metallic watercolor. This is a 3D sort of collage made with paint pens and glitter EVA foam. You may have seen this on Instagram. It's based off of a memory of when I was younger and my mom and I had a set of blue icicle lights that we kept up all year round. Unsuccessful pieces for November. This is in color pencil, and the only reason I think it's unsuccessful is I kind of lost sight of how to make the hands, how to draw the hands here. But I like the overall idea, and I might come back to this at some other time and refine it. This was the very last piece that I made. This is number 100. I for the most part, think it's actually pretty successful. I think probably the most unsuccessful part is maybe like the whiskers and maybe like the scribbliness of the fur up here, but I still like it. I still like it a lot. I really like how the eyes came out. I just realized that I think we actually might have gone through almost all of the 100 pieces throughout the whole project, which is fine. It was good for me to do this because I didn't realize how many pieces I actually liked versus how many I learned from. Like when I say that a piece is unsuccessful, really what I mean is like it didn't work out the way that I wanted it to, but I learned from it, and I learned some new techniques that I want to play with even more going forward. So this is a great segue into what did I learn from making 100 mini works of art over the course of an entire year. The number one thing that I learned, which was really the impetus for doing this project, was my watercolor skills are really out of shape. I think it's the best way to put it. And I wanted to do this project so that I could refresh those skills, so that I could get back into watercolor. And I just realized, like, maybe I don't need to. Maybe that's okay. And the more I play with it, I'm finding that more abstract sort of sketches with watercolor is the thing that I'm kind of drawn to. But when I just am playing with it and being loosey-goosey and not putting any sort of, like, not even like a goal, but not even like an intention behind it. Like the intention is just to see how it makes me feel, then I enjoy it. Watercolor might be transitioning into more of a meditative refresh, recalibrating sort of practice. Another major thing that this project showed me was that I need to slow my practice down quite a lot. I didn't realize from watching like hyperlapse videos both on YouTube and on like Instagram, and I realized in this process how quickly I tried to expedite each piece. Like I tried to make it in a piece in like, I don't know, 20-30 minutes, which is ridiculous. Why would I put a limit on how long it's going to take me to make something? It's got me realizing, okay, I really do need to work on not being on my phone, not doom scrolling, not absorbing what other people are doing and how they're doing it. I need to enjoy the process. I have been rushing through the best part of making art, and that is the process, the discovery, the mistakes, the new techniques, the taking of the time to make something. I'm just gonna let myself take the time I need. If I don't make something in a day, that's okay. If I don't make something in a week, that's okay. Am I enjoying the process? That's the question. How do I get back to enjoying the process? As I stated with a couple of the pieces, the smaller the canvas is, the harder it is to do detail. And I am a person who likes to overdo detail a lot of the time. I'm working on it, trying to simplify. That was a big thing. That was pretty eye-opening for me to see how much detail I was trying to fit into like these tiny pieces that really, it was just unnecessary. And the pieces that I found the most successful, I think, are the ones that had the least amount of detail. Shocker. Another realization I had was that my eyesight is not what it used to be. I had to wear my reader glasses for a number of these pieces because, again, kind of leaning back to the previous point, I was putting in so much detail that I was having like a really hard time like seeing the piece. So gonna work on that. Yeah, kind of tying back to a previous point about slowing down the process. I realized that as much as I work well with a deadline, I started to feel pressure to create every month to a degree that I started just kind of losing joy in the process. I think selecting a subject to make a series of helped a lot. So like the trees or the clouds or the animals, like that was really helpful. But I did find myself multiple times throughout the year dreading having to make pieces, having to fill my quota each month. This process really rekindled my love of collage. I've been working in like digital collage a little bit over the past few years, especially for client work, and I've really loved it. And this was 2025 was the first time in maybe like, at least 4 years that I actually like put paper and glue together with other papers and other materials, and I just made a thing. And I was just kind of like looking at materials, and the materials told me what they wanted to be in this collage. And it was just really exciting. So I gotta dive back into collage more. Oh no. You're a nerd. Last but not least, I really enjoyed working with my paint pens, both the Artex and the Posca pens. I just really, I don't want to say like rekindled my love of them, but it made me realize that I love, honestly, the convenience of that medium, also the sustainability of that medium. Like I don't have to use water, so I'm not having to worry about like how to dispose of my paint water or anything. I just, it's all in a marker. I really enjoyed figuring out how to use it in regards to detail, because we all know what a detail monster I am now. Now you know, world. It reminded me how much I love the versatility of the material, how you can mix it with other mediums, the shapes, the opacity that you get out of it. Like just something about using them in this particular context just kind of made me like double down on that love. So that was the process of my 100 mini artworks project for the year 2025. I learned a lot. I found subjects that I want to like explore further into the future, and materials that I really want to like revisit again. And also like mediums and subjects that I think I'm ready to kind of retire, or at least like shift how I use them, maybe in a more personal meditative sort of way, which I think is pretty cool. I learned a lot about myself. I don't want to do a project this big again for a really long time. It may even be a while before I do like a 30-day challenge again, but I'm really proud of myself for sticking with it. I tapped into a discipline that I think I lost, and I am proud of myself for having completed this whole project. If you made it all the way to the end here, hey, thanks so much for sticking with me. I hope you enjoyed this this whole rigmarole that I put up here on the YouTubes. If you want to see more of it, hey, maybe you subscribe here or on the Instagram or something. I don't know. Live your life. Do what you need to do for you. Thanks so much, and I will see you all in the next one. Okay? Bye, friends. Okay.